Hey, how are you?
Fine.
I'm trying
Hiding.
to stream to Facebook is not happening. Like
Okay.
all these electronic stuff are just not working today.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out
Finding a
where
good
I can get to
spot.
the shop today.
I really wanted to stream. It's just not happening. It's okay, right? We do
Yeah.
what we can. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm okay. Um it's been a weird 2 days for me. And that's the nature of what we're going through right now, right? Like some days you are totally okay, and other days parts of reality hit you in a not a scary way. It's just sad, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
I think yesterday I read an article that take me to more articles and more articles, and you know how it is when you start getting into that hole.
Right. The rabbit hole.
um, which I stopped myself, but it was like the very first article that I read by this epidemiologist. Um, and then the email that we got today from the district, right? School is out for sure for the rest of the school year, which we were
Yeah.
expecting. But until you get that email, I think that there's always the hope that things are going to get better and change, right?
Right. Yeah.
and and I think that it was the culmination of the article that I read yesterday and the email from the school district today that put me in such a sad state of it's hard what we are going through. Like it's
Mhm.
really making me sad. And today I think it's International Health Day, and just to think of all the people who are sick and all the the workers on the front line of fighting this disease. I think I reached a point where it's really sad.
Yeah.
And I'm a very positive person, you know that, and I will always be. But I think that we are in this for such a long haul
Right.
that it's just thinking that I'm okay, my kids are okay, we have a house, beautiful house that shelters us in, and we go hike every day. We are okay. It's
Mhm.
just thinking about how some people in the world are going to do without their jobs, without making money, without the food from school, um, or the workers, at Amazon, at Costco, at Whole Foods, USPS, UPS, like all these people are working for us, making sure that we get what we need. I haven't been to the store in 4 weeks. I buy everything online,
Oh, really?
and it gets me thinking, like these people, they need the job and they are working there, and they are keeping my family safe, but they are running a huge risk. If they get sick,
Mm-hmm.
then they have to stay home. How are they gonna do, right?
Yeah. 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 If I think, it's a matter of people being conscientious, not just of, uh, staying home, but being appreciative of
Yeah,
the people that can't. You know, yeah,
yeah,
pretty
it's
real
true.
out
We are going through a reality that is so surreal,
It is so surreal. Yeah.
I saw in someone's social media post, someone said, this is not a new normal. This is just something we are going through. It feels so, I don't know if I can express, but yeah, it's true. It's something that we are going through and it's not going to last forever. But I think that for the lengthy period that this is going to last, it is going to be our new normal for a long time.
It's not going to go back to being the way it was because the people are losing jobs. People won't be gathering for a long time. Companies, cruise
Yeah,
lines are going under. Like things are changing,
yeah,
and so it's how can we support each other and pivot. You know, in terms of business wise, and in terms of how to support each other in a way that it works with whatever the new normal becomes.
that's
Because
true.
it's going to be like, I don't think people are going to feel comfortable going to like a concert for a long time, if ever.
It's true until we can find a vaccine or until we know that we have a way to contain this, right? It's true. And that's why more than ever, um, it's so serendipitous how this all works in our lives. But gratitude is that it's my safe haven, because I could have gone, like I said, I'm a researcher. So I read one thing, then there's a link. I click to that, and it takes me to another article. It takes me to another article, and in a matter of 2 or 3 hours, I've already read 10 articles, right? And if it wasn't gratitude, if it wasn't for my gratitude practice, I would have gone yesterday not yesterday, it was Sunday. Yesterday I didn't have Wi-Fi, so I didn't even do much on my phone. But I would have gone in such a fast downward spiral by what I was reading. I'm very conscientious with what I read, so I do tend to read only facts that are coming directly from doctors,
Mm-hmm.
researchers. And it was when I noticed how my emotions were changed and how I was becoming fearful, and so fearful that I was this close from the panic line.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I immediately used cognitive reframing to
Right.
really change my perspective and change my focus and help me see what else was there that was working, what else is out there that can help me through, and like you said, that I can use to help support others. And it was so interesting when we talked this morning, what would you like to talk about today? And reframing is what came up for both of us, how we can reframe our negative thoughts and help us change the way we think, feel, and then behave, so that we can be a better support for ourselves and for others.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And it's good that you were able to catch that, because I think that maybe you probably know better than me in terms of brain reactions, but that, when you are in that spiral to the point where it's actually harder to go into that like more fight or flight brain, and it's harder to take yourself out of that. So you noticed you were heading there and you put the brakes on it,
Yes.
which is good.
And I don't think I would have been able to do that hadn't it been for my gratitude practice, right? Because gratitude puts us in a state of awareness and mindfulness of the present moment that is such that allows us to, like you said, really catch ourselves in the act. Like before I start going down that spiral, I was able to really pause, take a deep breath, and start making a pivot.
Yeah. So it allows you to the mindfulness practice allows you to kind of like almost step away from like the personality ego and observe it, and you can see what's, you know, what's going on with all that stuff, the thoughts and the spinning, and kind of be more coming from a place of centeredness that you can kind of return to.
That's true. And it is important that we take that step, because as we know, the situation we are in and what we are going through, we haven't even reached the worst yet, right? So we do need to prepare ourselves. We do need to train our brains to become more mindful and become more aware of our thoughts, emotions, so that we can catch ourselves before we behave upon those negative thoughts and emotions, right? And because, like you said, our thoughts and our feelings, they can really make our stressors, which in our case is outside of our control. It's what it's already happening. You know, the sickness that is hurting so many people is totally outside of our control. I cannot stop that for everybody. And it is already a stressor in my mind, in my life, in my feelings. But if I don't reframe the way that I think and feel about the situation, I'm only adding a stressor on top of my stressor.
Right.
Which, that's what you said, that's when it becomes really, really big and out of control. So reframing is changing the way that we perceive the situation, and is searching for different perspectives, different ways of looking to the same situation.
Yeah, I like to call it like shifting the narrative, so that you have a story about what's going on.
Yep.
And then you can look and say, okay, what's true about that story? What's not true? What's another way I could look at it that is true, that would be, you know, more beneficial?
Yeah. So for me, I have 3 strategies that I put in place as soon as I catch myself going down that path of noticing that my negative thoughts are affecting my emotions, affecting my thoughts, affecting my emotions before I start taking action even. So I like to use the question, what else, a lot in many different situations. But in this case, I would say, okay, what else is working, right? In this situation right now. Yeah, this is bad. So for instance, the article that I read was really grim, very factual. And I can see that that's exactly where we are heading. So it was pretty grim. But then I pause and I look around, what else is working? I have the situation that is out of my control, and then I do have tons around me that it is under my control. So what else is working for me? So at the same time, I looked around and it was pouring rain outside, but my kids were playing game together. So that was sweet. I haven't seen the both of them playing together in a long time. And then I decided to join them, and it was like an old Wii. So you actually get, they were playing tennis. So you play with those little joysticks, and it actually became really fun. I looked around and we have food, and our heater was working. And, I have this house that shelters us. And I knew we were going to receive a little shipment from Amazon yesterday or today. So like all of those things, we are healthy. We all can breathe easily. We can all walk, we can dance, we can sing. We called grandparents, we talked to uncles and aunts. So I took that moment to really change, like you said, my narrative. Yeah, that is where we are heading to. I'm doing as much as I can to stop the spreading right there, because we're not even leaving the house to go to stores or anything. So then I'm looking around, what is working, and really acknowledging all the little things that work around me and not take anything for granted. Acknowledging the workers. So we had some people delivering some things yesterday for us. So we made, for instance, yesterday we didn't have, our power got shut down for the whole day. So the day before I made banana bread. So I left out half of the banana bread to our Amazon worker with a huge thank you sign on it. And it's just, just those little things that make you feel good. And he or she, I don't know, because I didn't see it, left a little note saying thank you for the treat. I mean, everyone likes to be acknowledged, right? So calling grandparents, calling aunts and uncles, and playing together and acknowledging what we have and saying thank you to the delivery Amazon person just changes the narrative, changing our thoughts, changing our emotions. And that becomes the focus of the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can only do that by being present, right? Because then another strategy that I use is, okay, I could wish that things were different, which we all wish that things were different, but am I going to live in the wishful thinking, or am I going to be present and really take in of what it exists right now and make the best of it? So always the question for me, I always ask, what else is working? What else can I be appreciative in the moment right now? And yeah, of course, I would love for things to be different. I would love to be living different times. I've been looking at photos from our trips in the past and reminiscing the past.
Yeah.
This has been such a great English class for me too. The more I talk, the better I get at it. So reminiscing the past and, all the travels that we've done, and they were great opportunities. So instead of me just living in the past and being very nostalgic, I am appreciative of the opportunities that I had. And those opportunities led me to be the person that I am right now. So what can I do with the memories that I have to help sustain my present moment in a way that is not going to let me spiral out of control? And the last thing that I always remind myself is to never compare my situation, my thoughts, my feelings, my beliefs to anyone else, because we are all different. Because sometimes we do I go through that too. Sometimes I will, see something on social media, or I'm talking to a friend, there's a comment, and I'm like, should I be doing this? Like, am I thinking wrong? I will appreciate everything that I have. I will appreciate my beliefs. I'll appreciate who I am. And I will stop comparing myself, just so I can live more mindful in the present moment.
Right.
What works
I
for
think that,
you?
I think that that's true. It's kind of something that kind of came up when I was, this morning, that kind of led to for me also thinking about reframing, was kind of noticing when it feels all of a sudden like things aren't working out a certain way, or everything seems to be, blocking, you can see hitting blocks, like to stop and like say, okay, like, is this really the path I should be going in down? Maybe there's like, a benefit to the fact that maybe, things aren't working out for a reason this way. Maybe there's like a clear path that I'm not seeing. And maybe that, so just to be open to maybe things aren't always the way that we expect them to be or want them to be. And that there can be, good and learning in most things. Obviously right now we're, challenged with a lot of people going through a lot. And, I was on a class this morning with somebody in New York, and they can't go outside really, it's like, so it's kind of like, it's funny because the world has gotten smaller in some ways, but we can't interact. We've talked about this before, but it's kind of fascinating. But it kind of brings the humanity of in not everyone together. It's like, you know, you wave at people and then everyone is going through the whole world pretty much right now, which is pretty unprecedented.
It really
Um,
is.
and so it really just takes you to like that like place of just being appreciative of each person and what they're going through, and you know, do what you can do to, you know, to make your approach positive and make other people's lives a bit easier.
It's true. You said it right. The world has become such a small place for all of us, right? It doesn't matter where we are in the globe right now. It doesn't matter what profession we are in. The world has become a very, very small place. And you're right. The word humanity has come up so many times lately. And I think that that's part of the shift, right? To bring back the humanity is, like you said, we wave at each other because we miss each other. You know, like here, you know, in Mill Valley, we are howling at 8 p.m. every night, right? So as I get out in the front door, like all the neighbors, like when we hear each other, that's when we lean and we start waving, and we don't even call each other's names. We just howl and wave, and it has become something to look forward to because we are so not closed off, but so in our little world, not seeing anyone, not interacting with anyone, that we are realizing how important we are for one another, and how we can't survive just being by ourselves. I mean, you can, but it wouldn't be a fulfilling, happy life without friends and neighbors and, you know, all the people who work and keep us safe, keep us fed. Yeah.
It's those connection points.
The connection, how important it has been. I wonder what is being written in the stars for all of this. Is almost like one of those little lessons. Hey, you people, you have not been too nice to each other up to right now, so let's shake things up a little bit. One way or another is happening, right?
Yeah. It's interesting times.
It has been.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to check the website to see if there's any questions that people have. Did you have a chance to check the event page?
No, I don't. Let me check.
I know we should have been better at this at this point.
Let's see here. You can.
I think that the whole like world internet world it's a little bit tired, overused, and so here's sage and stone.
Oh, you're gonna check it.
No, nothing yet. That's okay.
See, did I lose you? Can you see me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh.
I did, you know, I did have a friend who asked us to talk about how to develop a gratitude when we don't feel like it. And I said, that's what we talked about last Friday. Go watch our recording. It's up there. Because she said she wanted to join the call today, but she couldn't because she has a call. She's a real estate agent. And she's like, how do we develop a gratitude practice when when everything is just so gloomy. And I'm like, we talked about that last Friday. Go check it
Yeah. I
out.
think the main thing with that is really the why. Like
Yeah.
like what does it do in terms of how does it shift things for you physiologically, health
Yeah.
wise, because otherwise you can get to the point where you're just like, but what's the point? Like, why does it
Yeah.
really matter?
And that's
But
why it can't be mechanical. Like it can't be automatic. It has to be intentional. And the why is more important than the how and the what. You are so right. Like why? Why are we doing this? Why is this important? Why am I grateful for this? Why is this important in my life? Why do I care for this? Why do I care for practicing? Because that's what it will keep us going and brings our real motivation
right.
behind our
And
actions.
it's because it affects other people around us. It's really important because we're not ourselves.
Yeah.
Because I think people can think, oh, it's something that's just like this, like, self-focused thing, and it's you're doing it so that you are a more pleasant person, and it is contagious, and changes the vibration. If you want to talk in those words, or just the sense of how you are and how other people are, and everybody's familiar with like walking into a room or a situation, and if it feels good or bad. And
Yeah.
it's kind of that. You want that. How do you want to feel all the time, and how do you want people around you to feel? What's going to help the most right now?
That is so true. That is so true. I just finished writing a new blog post that I'm going to post soon later today. And I start out by saying, I don't journal every day. I don't do gratitude journaling every day. It's not something that I used to. I don't do it anymore yet, but I do practice gratitude regularly. I do pause and I do take in the moment. I learned how to cultivate the awareness of the moment. And again, with the question, what else is working here for me? What else it brings me joy? What else makes me happy? What else is working for other people? How can I become a vessel of joy and light for other people, right? So like by stopping, by pausing several times a day and just asking ourselves these questions with genuine curiosity, no judgment, and true intention of helping ourselves and others, and just like you said, become better people, so people will want to come and be around us and create the ripple effect of changing our vibration and changing the energy around that. We develop the gratitude practice, right? It's because of all of that. And I wrote this article because someone wrote me, because I started the Gratitude Week project, right? And every day I give a journaling prompt, and someone said, I absolutely hate journaling. I don't like sitting down and writing. And I said, I actually don't journal every day. In the beginning of the practice, it's really important that people sit down and do journal, because that's how they are going to develop and cultivate the habit. But once they do that, you don't necessarily need to journal every day, because once you cultivated the habit and you exercise, it's going to, like, it's ingraining you, right?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
it's just from that point on, so it doesn't become an automatic reaction, is just really questioning, why am I doing this? Why is this important to me? Why do I care so much for this? Why am I doing this? Is it for me? Is it for others? Why do I care that this is affecting others in a certain way? Just so we can develop this intention in our actions.
Right.
That also helps change the narrative, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about being aware, not reactive, and yeah, and taking charge of being responsible, not taking charge,
Yeah.
being responsible for ourselves in the world and the way we interact with the world. Yeah.
I was thinking here, maybe we could do you do meditation? Do you do guided meditation? We could do a little 5 or 10 minute meditation one of these days.
Yeah, I was thinking of that today, doing that today too.
Really?
Do that next time. before. Yeah. So yeah, let's do that next time.
Because I
And
think
then
it helps.
yeah, and then yeah, I think we're gonna maybe have some guests come on and talk about their own gratitude practices.
Yes, bring some more people, share their gratitude practice, their mindfulness practice, their awareness, and how they are coping, and their strategies and coping mechanisms, so we can all learn with one another.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody has, I'm sure, different, perspective, and we can learn from everybody's, different approaches.
Yeah, we really can. It will be great. I'm so excited.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Well, I'll see you Friday.
We'll talk Friday.
Okay, have a good week. Bye.
Too. Bye, everybody.